Hi, Dario. Oh, hi, Dario. Welcome to the meeting.
Hi, folks. How are you doing?
Hi
Doing well.
there. We're good. Welcome.
Thank you.
It might be the three of us, Dario, so I hope you got a lot of questions.
Well, I only have a couple actually.
Okay,
Great. Well,
great.
we'll go ahead and we'll wait a few more minutes. We've got an actual little intro to the program to get this
Mm.
going, and then so anyway, we're just hanging out until then.
All right. Cool with me.
What do you think, Justin? Should we start at 4:05?
Absolutely, Kit. I was going to get started at 4:05.
Okay, awesome. And if we get more folks on in the meantime, great.
We will. I'm also going to send you Kit because I would be terrible if I left out my middle child. A back to school photo from Ivy. Since I shared my
Oh my
firstborn. Uh,
goodness.
it's back to school day week, Dario, where I live in the Central Valley. So, well, it is 4:05, so we'll go ahead and we'll get started with today our kickoff virtual office hours for the Guadalupe Quarry redevelopment project. My name's Justin Salters. I'm a consultant who specializes in community outreach and stakeholder engagement, along with my colleague Kit Cole. And so we are working with Developers Orchard Partners on exactly that, community outreach for the quarry redevelopment project. A little agenda for today's discussion. We're going to review purpose and outcomes for the virtual office hours, introduce a little bit about why we are hosting these, why we're recording them as Zoom notified everybody when you join, and go over some ground rules for them. We'll do brief introductions, and then the bulk of our time is going to be spent working on questions and answers and co-creating with our attendees a list of frequently asked questions that we will then post for anybody to go ahead and be able to review. So with that as the agenda, I'm going to walk us through and do a fair amount of talking at the beginning. If you do have any questions during the middle or need me to stop, you can use the raise your hands function or put it in the chat. Kit and I are both paying attention to that. But then eventually I will stop talking, also because it's 4 p.m. and I am, I have used all my words, as my young children would say. I've used all my words, Dad. So Anyway, our purpose and outcomes for these virtual office hours is first and foremost to provide a regular opportunity for the community to ask questions about the project. We will be hosting these twice a month from now, as long as we need to. And these are really rooted in time to answer questions. And this really goes into number 2 of our purpose P&O, if you will, for this these office hours, which is we want to review the responses to the questions to make sure that they're clear and complete. As we go through and receive questions, we're going to keep track of them. We're going to write our responses and we're going to go through them. And if you've submitted a question and said, well, but what about this? I'm still unclear. That's feedback that we want so that we can make sure that we are thoroughly answering questions. We're also going to go ahead and share facts and updates about the project as we have them. Spoiler alert, we have no big facts or updates to share today on August 13th, or no big news since our last in-person community open house on June 30th. And then lastly, this is an opportunity for our team to go ahead and meet more Brisbane residents and businesses so we can, again, become more familiar faces. A little info about virtual office hours 101, if you will. These do not replace our in-person community open houses. We will go ahead and have those in-person meetings that are in-person open houses. They'll continue and we'll make sure to inform the public as soon as we determine when the next one will be. Like I said, virtual office hours will be hosted twice per month, most months. Thanksgiving is a fourth Thursday, and fourth Thursday. So we're not going to have a virtual office hours the day before Thanksgiving, and I think Christmas Day itself is on the fourth Wednesday. So I hope no one's offended by that. But Kit and I have other plans than spending with the lovely folks of Brisbane on those 2 major holidays. You can attend as many of the meetings as you'd like and are able to. You don't have to attend all of them, and people can start attending at any time. If you missed one, totally fine. As I shared, we're going to co-create frequently asked questions document, and we'll share more about that later. This FAQ document will be posted on our project website, brisbanequarry.com. So we'll make it very easy for you to be able to find that and see the questions and the responses that we've provided. These are our upcoming virtual office hours through the end of 2025. Today is the 13th. And you can see we have 2 per month, except for November 26th and December 24th. My bad. It's Christmas Eve. Still not planning to spend it with you all. Even though I love every opportunity I get to work in Brisbane. Okay, we've had some questions asked about the information we provide. We do ask folks to go on and register for these Zoom meetings before versus just publicly blasting out a link. Most important thing to know is that we are committed to respecting the privacy of every person and organization that engages with the project. When we collect your information, like your name, your email address, or zip code, or messages that you exchange with us, we are only going to use that information so we can either respond to you to help answer questions you ask, or to provide you with information about project updates and events. Your information is never sold, and we don't share it with third parties that aren't specifically related to this project. For example, Kent and I, as I mentioned, we're consultants for the developer Orchard Partners. So, we provide, here's the list of folks that we've reached out with or that we've talked to Orchard Partners. They are a third party specific to this project in Brisbane, and vice versa. They share information with us. It doesn't go beyond the project. The reason that we ask everyone to register on Zoom is really to prevent spamming and as a layer of protection for all of our attendees from being exposed to inappropriate material. We all lived through the pandemic and virtual meetings, and the stories were all too common about folks just jumping into a meeting and putting obscene materials on the screen. So we do this as a way to go ahead and help put a barrier or a layer of protection for no other reason. And then lastly, and this is really important because we did get this question, you only have to register once for each Zoom link. So there's a Zoom link for the second Wednesday of each month, and there's a Zoom link for the fourth Wednesday. Only register one time to get all the second weeks, second Wednesdays, and one time to get all the fourth Wednesdays. The way Zoom recurring meetings go, I couldn't make it just one link, so I really apologize. Feedback noted. I already provided feedback to Zoom, but I'm just one man, unfortunately. Now, we are recording today's meeting, and we're recording these office hours so that other folks can, who don't attend today, can be able to watch it later, and so that we can go ahead and make sure that we actually capture the questions that have been asked. Just a great reference point, and all about transparency. Transparency is really, really important for Kit and I, and for the project team and Orchard Partners, the developer. So these videos will be posted, the recording will be posted onto YouTube, and then we'll get it up on our website so you can share it with folks. Trust me, Kit and I will be, if we have any questions about, oh man, this person asked a really good question, I don't know that I got it all transcribed properly, let me go back and revisit that. Or vice versa. Maybe we were dialoguing about a response and something really resonated. It gives us all an opportunity to go back and check things out. So that's a little bit about today. Now, my last part before we get to the working session is just ground rules, which again are just a really important way for us to all have the same expectations and make sure that we're showing up the same way, if you will, for today's meeting. So just quickly, we really ask that we all listen to understand, and we avoid interrupting. Really important. We acknowledge this is a controversial project and there are a lot of really big feelings and opinions about it, but we just ask that everyone acknowledge those different perspectives before jumping in to share their own. Tied right to that, it's just about speaking respectfully. So even when we disagree, we just ask for folks to remain calm and professional and really to use I statements. So we, just as a best practice and as a good behavior, to avoid you. So let's use I statements. I'm concerned about this, or I've heard that. Please stay on topic. We are here to answer as much as we can, and then what we can't answer, we will go back and research about the Guadalupe Quarry redevelopment project. But we don't necessarily know everything about everything, or I don't even know anything about everything. So we want to keep the conversation on topic and related to this project, and the bounds of that. Also, we want to assume positive intent and acknowledge impact. So we are here assuming that everybody else, that you all who attend, are here in good faith. And likewise, we're here in good faith too. So there's no desire or, no intention to cause harm on our part, and we assume that from everyone else attending as well. We want to share the air. I'm mindful I have been talking a lot since 4:05. It's actually going on 10 minutes now. So I'm going to step back, but we also encourage folks that if you're attending, feel free to step up if you haven't spoken or if you haven't shared. Please mind your language, choosing words that are going to help invite dialogue, bring more people into the conversation or more questions. And then we're also just choosing to avoid inflammatory language or imagery that could cause tensions. Then lastly, considering technology etiquette, we have a small group on today, so it's not so much as a problem. But as we have more folks that attend, please mute when you're not speaking to reduce background noise. And then if we do have a lot of folks, to just use the raise hand or the chat function if you have a question or a comment, and we will do our best to go ahead and get to that. So let's do introductions lastly before we jump into our working session today. And if you don't mind sharing, and I'll model this, and then we'll go around the room. We'll have Kit, the rest of our team, introduced before community members. And since we have a small group today, we'll do voiced out intros. If we have a larger group, we will do introductions in the chat feature. My name is Justin Salters. I'm not a Brisbane resident, unfortunately. It's 104 degrees where I live, just a few hours south in the Central Valley. I'm a project team member. I specialize in, as I mentioned earlier, specialize in community outreach and stakeholder engagement. I really have enjoyed the opportunity to work with Brisbane. Kit.
Thanks, Justin. I'm a project team member. My name's Kit Cole, and I don't live in Brisbane either, unfortunately, and I'm really glad to be here. And Dario, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Dario Dorella. I've been living in Brisbane for the past 3 years and a half, probably running towards the fourth one. I'm really enjoying it. And I enjoy the nature and the proximity to the state park and so on. And that's what brings me, like, what brings my interest in to the quarry project, because in my understanding is going to impact some of that.
Thanks for being here. I'm glad you're here, and I'm excited to hear that you care about the mountain. Before you moved to Brisbane, do you mind me asking where you lived?
We lived in San Francisco.
Oh, nice. So you got moved to Brisbane and got a little bit more space.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
very
not
good.
not really in the house, but way more on the outside of the house, which I
Out in the
also enjoy.
world. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm a super avid hiker, and every time I come to your town, I think, oh man, I should have brought my hiking boots, because Ariel does those really good hikes on the mountain too. So Dario, I have you probably can see I'm sharing my screen, and I am ready to hear your questions if you're ready to share them.
Oh, sure. Of course, like some, like I guess, like gossip and so on, like started circulating in town, and the last I heard is that the hypothesis on what to build on the quarry shifted from a like warehouse to
Hmm.
a data center, and I don't know whether
Hmm.
it's true or not. Uh,
Hmm.
Actually, that I don't know. It's like I personally like that idea least because
Hmm.
having worked in the tech industry, I know data centers to be
Hmm.
extremely noisy 24
Hmm.
hours a day, and
Hmm.
also very hungry in terms of infrastructure. And so I am, if that were to be like the chosen route for the owner of this project, that would
Hmm.
come with electrical infrastructure, with water, and
Uh-huh.
again, potentially with a lot of around the clock noise. And that's, I am concerned about it because I do not know of good ways yet to addressing those. And I also know that for the people who build data centers, the incentives are the economic incentives are actually not to fully address those concerns, because again, like
Hmm.
doing silent stuff costs more than doing something that
Mm.
use the like the soundscape more.
Hmm.
What was the core of the
So,
question? I mean, not really a question, mostly a concern, and I would like to see more like discussion and sharing of information around those aspects that are beyond the construction, that is uh, like some disruption, but is limited in time, whereas the operations of the data center will be like around the clock. And
mhm.
I would like to see what the like long-term uh, vision or like impact being evaluated.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't, can you see the screen where you are, Dario? Because I tried to get
Yeah.
your questions. Okay.
Yes.
So did the project shift from a warehouse to a data center?
Hmm.
Are data centers noisy? Would it be running 24 hours a day? And when we talk about we're talking about, would the one proposed for the quarry. So not just sort of generally, but like this specific one, right? Um, are they hungry in terms of electrical needs, right? And water, etc.
And then I added this one, Dario, which I kind of inferred from your comments, but it just disappeared.
It
Um,
did.
what
Try
just,
it. You want to try it again?
yeah, but I was gonna ask a question. Oh, haha. I don't know what happened, Kit. I had it open too, and let me re.
Okay.
But it was how will we address how will we address impacts like noise,
Mm-hmm.
24/7 noise?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So while Justin's trying to figure out what he and I just did in the spreadsheet, um, I can tell you, Dario, that the project has changed. So originally, the project was a 1.3 million square foot warehouse. And the project has changed. And in fact, I can bring up, or Justin, if you want to bring up the PowerPoint slide that we handed out at the community open house that shows what the new project is. And Dario, if you put your email in the chat, I'm happy to send you this document that we're going to share on screen because it's certainly not a secret.
Sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what we have now, we had a warehouse, now we have a data center, and we also have an advanced manufacturing facility. So those are the two uses that we've pivoted to. Great, thank you so much. And I'll send you this document. And we pivoted to them because we heard a lot from the community at our first open house in April about traffic. And people were really worried about heavy truck traffic. And with trucks coming in and out of the warehouse. And so Tyler and Dawn, who are the developers who make up Orchard Partners, went looking for a different use for the site. And these two uses, data center and advanced manufacturing, are in demand and are a good fit with that flat section of the quarry that is available to be developed, right? We can't develop on the terraces, way too steep and crazy, but there's sort of this flat big area at the base of the quarry that could be developed. So that's what they changed to. So Justin, did you get that in the answer there? We can't hear you, babe. You're muted.
Thank you.
There
I
you
have
are.
a very loud keyboard that is very clacky, so I am trying to not, I didn't want to bug you all while I was typing a response. So Dario, and this illustrates how we envision this process working is, so like our response is, yes, the project initially proposed to build a 1.3 million square foot warehouse. The updated project plan, announced on June 30th, 2025, proposes to build two buildings totaling 890,000 square feet, consisting of a two-story, 180,000 square foot data center and a second building for light industrial uses such as advanced manufacturing, assembly, or warehousing. The updated plans reflect both a quantitative reduction in size, I'm missing that, and qualitative shift based on community feedback to the original proposal.
So Dario, you're 100% right. The project has changed. And I'm happy to email you, and I will after we're done here, the 2-pager fact sheet that we did. And please feel free to share it with your neighbors, email it to whoever you would like.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it.
So your second question is, are data centers noisy? And I have to admit, I'm not a data center expert. Certainly data centers, you know this, Dario, you probably know it way better than I do, need to run 24 hours a day. There's a couple things in the city of Brisbane that the city of Brisbane requires as part of operating in the city of Brisbane. So there's a noise ordinance, which limits the amount of noise that industrial uses can emit, not just during the daytime, but at night too. And there's also you all have a dark skies ordinance, which limits the amount of light and the type of light um, that can be emitted at night. So maybe one of the ways we could answer this for you, Dario, is we could. I have these documents. I could share the noise ordinance for the city of Brisbane with you, as well as the dark skies ordinance. And both
Yeah, I mean, I
noise.
have
Sorry,
access to
I'm sorry.
those. I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. I have access to
No,
those
please.
that are on the city
Oh, good.
website.
Okay, great. So we would be required to be in compliance with all of those requirements. If we weren't, the city could certainly cite us for violations and force a change in operations so that we're in compliance.
Dario, I would also add for some of these, I like these questions and noise impacts, Kit, correct me if
Hmm.
I'm wrong, but they are studied in the EIR.
They are.
So we will have to go ahead and, like, I can't quantify and I'm not going to speculate. But I think this is a really good point. I appreciate you raising it as a piece of feedback so we can make sure that we do study it appropriately. And as soon as we have
Mhm.
a response to this question, like how will the project address impacts like 24/7 noise? Well, we don't know because we haven't we haven't developed the mitigation measures as part of the environmental impact report. But when we have those, we'll be able to specifically point to what steps are taken. So appreciate you raising the question of noise. Kit raised things about the noise ordinance and the dark skies ordinance. But from a specificity, we'll have to, take that into account as we're developing mitigation measures.
Yeah, and my concern raises from the fact that I worked in and around data centers, and
Mhm.
they are not exactly, and they are pictured in like fictional environments. They are really, really noisy, or they can be.
Mhm.
And and I think there have been also in the news cases of communities, I think in Virginia, that are more or less rioting against more data centers
Mhm.
around their houses just because
Yes.
the amount of noise is unbearable. And the noise doesn't come directly from the machines inside the data center. It comes from the infrastructure. So it's the cooling facilities, huge fans that are on 24 hours a day because computers do produce a lot of heat, and cooling equipment produces noise. If
Yeah.
you have an AC, you know that. And and so cooling a data center is no small feat. And
Mhm.
but again, I mean, it's I'm not current with all the technology around that. There might be viable solutions and things that make like a data center as silent as my laptop. Uh,
Maybe.
I
Right.
I really hope
But
so, or at least
we need to
I
do some
hope that
research
will
on our
be,
side too. Yeah.
or at least I hope that there will be a day when that is possible. And again, I would love to see like a data center that is truly silent and amazing.
Mhm.
It's just I'm not sure that the current status of technology allows for that.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
given the as we were saying in the start of the meeting, there are not a lot of green areas left in the Bay Area, and seeing this one too being contaminated and spoiled, even though I mean it's probably like futile to really like try to rally against development. At least
Oh,
I
I
would
don't
love
think it's
to see like the project done with some conscious and acknowledgement that there are things that live on the mountain and people that live around it.
yeah, I Dario, I don't know if you came to any of our open houses, but we did um have an informational board about how much of the quarry land currently we're going to put into habitat preservation. So would it be helpful? Because so of all of the property the quarry has right now, we're going to put more than half of it into habitat conservation.
Hmm.
Um,
Cool.
so maybe that's a question, Justin. We can like what of the quarry land, right? Of the current facility, how much of that will be preserved? So yeah, I totally hear what you're saying, Dario, and certainly Justin and I have heard a lot of comments from folks about wanting to make sure that the butterflies, in particular on San Bruno Mountain, are protected. And I don't know if if you don't have this book, Dario, I can bring you one. So this is I'm gonna I'm all blurry here.
Yeah, I see.
This,
I know the
do you have
the
this one?
story of the mountain. Yep.
Yep, good. Um, so we're really sensitive to the fact that this is one of the last big green open spaces um in this area south of San Francisco. So we proposed that we would work with the county, which runs the habitat conservation plan area, which is the mountain, right? Restore some of the quarry land and then give that to the county in perpetuity as conserved land. So really what we really want to do is just develop that flat part of the quarry and then hopefully have the rest of it be put into habitat conservation because we get how important that is to the community.
That is
So
that is very
Justin,
nice to hear.
say that again, I'm sorry.
No, that is very nice to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've met Don and Tyler. Um, Tyler and I are both big hikers. Tyler right now is up in the Grand Tetons hiking. So he has a just a personal commitment to the preservation of the natural space to the greatest degree possible. And I think one of the challenges with this project is there's no preservation of these acres without also doing a project because the money to preserve this additional land on the mountain comes from doing a project like this.
That is an interesting topic because one of the follow-ups that I had, like also hearing
Mhm.
what you were saying, is that it's did the owners like evaluate just selling the land to the park or just donating, or like there are organizations that
Mhm.
buy out lands in order to preserve it? I mean, have they
There
evaluated
are.
it?
Yeah, so the quarry actually has at least 30 more years of hard rock available and in it to be mined. And the value of that rock to be mined is massive. It's a massive amount of money. And so there have been certainly conversations that Justin and I have been a part of with community members about whether the city of Brisbane or the county of San Mateo could purchase the quarry from the owners. Um, but it would be such a massive hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars because there's still so much rock that could be taken out of the mine. Am I making sense?
Yes, and
Yeah.
that is another follow-up question, or uh, it is like, so why the choice of develop? The thing that is like I couldn't also like fully understand from like the
Hmm.
previous meeting was like why the choice to develop instead of mining all the rock, because once all the rock is mined,
Hmm.
the, then there is nothing, there is no more quarry, there is no more value, and the land could be returned to the or could be become part of the state park, and that
Hmm.
just mean another 30 years, and then the mountain could sleep. And so that
Hmm.
was also something that I couldn't fully understand. And also like
Sure.
the other thing that it probably is like economically, I mean, there are like financials that I don't fully understand, but if they was so valuable, why stop it? Why did they stop mining? I mean, if it's valuable and there's
Sure.
value there, it's been
Right.
there for a while. And so that seems to me to be like a devil's advocate. This seems to be something that that's being floating around. It's like, oh, if you oppose this development project, we will start mining again, and like, but also it's like, so if it was valuable, why did you stop doing that? And
Yeah.
it feels a little
Justin,
bit like a sort of like a something that is meant to sort of scare, for lack of better words, but doesn't have
uh-huh.
any teeth. And so that's where I stand. It seems like if there was an economic viability in the quarry, they would have continued using
hmm
it quarry.
hmm Justin, I don't see the question document up. Do you want me to share it again?
Oh,
Because it sounds like Dario
I'm
has a
sharing.
bunch of additional questions.
I'm sharing. I should be sharing now, Kit. Can you see my
It's,
screen?
I can't see it. Dario, can you see it?
No, I see you
All
now.
I see is us.
Tell me, can you
There we
see it?
I
go.
can see it now.
There we go.
Yeah.
So
Now we see it.
I started adding more questions. So did the court
Great.
consider selling the land?
Mhm.
Uh,
Yes.
why is the land being proposed for development rather than mining for another 30 years? If
Yep.
mine has value, why is mining activity stopped? Uh,
Yeah, and we filed, let's put this in as a question, Justin, because we filed an interim mining plan, an IMP, with the
okay.
County of San Mateo. So the question would be, what does an IMP mean? So an interim mining plan is essentially putting a pause on mining while we sort out the development of the site. But I think we need more detail on why we did that. And then if we wanted to start mining, what would be required of us in terms of paperwork or documents to file with the county? I think that's a really good question, Dario.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I'm gonna just see if I can find a link here to our interim plan.
I also, Kit, in related to this, I think Dario, this would be helpful, is to help understand what the reclamation requirements are for the
Yes.
mine, and and what would those costs be? And what could those costs be? So Dario, I don't have a specific answer, but we'll dig down to find something. We may need some time, but we will work on answering all of these questions. Um, let's propose a base case that mining continues for the next 30 years. When the mine is done, there's an extensive amount of reclamation work that has to happen on all of that to be funded as well, or even if right now. So that's part of evaluating the economics of the project, or of the property. So we'll find a way to go ahead and dive into that too.
Yeah, and related to that, there is also the fact that once the building is being built and like concrete is being poured, that is also an environmental cost that doesn't go away. So I
Yes.
wouldn't know exactly how that would fit into like the larger economical figure, but like let's say that I'm not sure what is like what would be like more conscious towards like the next generation, like to leave a bigger hole in the mountain 30 years from now that then has to be fixed, or leaving a building that is maybe become obsolete and just needs to be torn down or like repurposed to something else. And so like the long-term vision in both cases is still a little bit fuzzy in my head.
hmm
And so like I wouldn't, if I had to choose between the two, I would have a hard time because them both seem to be coming at a like considerable environmental cost.
hmm And the California, I know you know this, so forgive me. The California Environmental Quality Act does require us to take into account greenhouse gas emissions of
Mhm.
all the different proposed scenarios for development. So that is part of the math for the draft environmental impact. And then I I just sent you a link, Dario, or I just sent you just a quick sort of explanation of the interim management plan.
All right.
So
Thank you.
we can definitely add that and more detail into the answers.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really good. And just sorry, not to backtrack, but Justin, we had a question I know about water and electricity for data centers, and Dario, the technology that the developers are looking at would cool the data center with air. So they're not looking at water cooling just because it's so unrealistic for California.
Ah,
I may
that,
make you feel worse, not better, but I just wanted to make sure, since at least we have that answer, that we shared that with you.
oh, that is interesting, and that makes me think again, like the how. So data centers are profitable when you can squeeze a lot of hardware into them.
Mm-hmm.
Going for, and I am not an expert on cooling, but I wonder if that's like how that also would change the viability, and also like the whether it's air or water,
Mm-hmm.
there is like the heat exchangers, those big fan, the
Mm-hmm.
noisiest part of the data center would anyway be on the outside and exchanging heat with the hair. So wherever like water is used to transport like heat out of the data center, but then the water is to be cooled in this like by these big fans. So I am not sure like what the exactly like the where the technology different is with respect to the noise.
Yes. So where will the data center cooling equipment be located? And maybe what's the noise implications of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say
Is that
that.
right?
Yeah, yeah, and let's say that I am a little bit less worried about the water consumption to some extent, and a little bit more worried about the noise because that's usually harder to address, and that has
Mm.
more impact on the life around the data center, people
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
non-people living around.
Uh-huh. Yeah, these are really super good questions.
Any other
Um,
questions, Dario?
No, actually, this is quite a lot.
No,
I'm glad I didn't have to share airtime with anybody else, so I could get everything I had on the table.
I'm gonna send you right now the 2-pager that has the revised project description. And I'm emailing that to you. I also sent you the interim management plan language, which could certainly be more robust. But I just want to send this description of the project to
Right.
you. So
Kit,
you have it. Mhm.
and I just thought of something I want us to add to the FAQs is another column for like links to resources. So we can go ahead
Yes.
and if there anything that folks can get more information about, we'll add links to resources to it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you so much, Dario. This was super helpful. You could see when Justin was sharing the Excel spreadsheet, some of your
Mhm.
questions we can't answer for you right now, but that's why we're having office hours. So we're gonna work in the meantime between now and 2 weeks from now to get those answered. And you have my email as well. It's in the chat, and I've also emailed you a couple times today, so we can continue to have conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kit.
So last thing before we stop, because I do love to move things through. Okay, can you see my PowerPoint screen?
Yep, we sure can.
All right, so just a reminder, our next office hours will be 2 weeks, same day, same day of the week, same time, August 27th. There are QR codes over here that you can scan to take to register if you have not already. Please, save the date. Hope to see you again, Dario, as we work through these. And then last thing, as Kit and I have both said, but to just reiterate, we love feedback. We like to know what works and what doesn't work. So We have a really quick survey, just a 2-minute. Dario, you mentioned you come from the tech world, so you have got to be familiar with an NPS survey. So if you don't mind, you can scan that QR code. We'll also send a follow-up email to folks who are registered with a link to the survey for feedback. And then just as a reminder, Kit and I are always available to connect. We appreciate your time, and we're going to keep doing this. And thanks for the questions. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Great questions.
Responses and to take any new questions. Thank you, Dario, and thanks everyone else.
Thanks, Dario.
Thank you all. Have a great day. Bye.
Nice to meet you. Bye-bye. Hope to see you soon.
Bye.